And we are back. Gentlemen, welcome back to the official Five Guys on Live. How are we doing?
Hey, awesome.
Everybody is back. It has been about 6 good weeks, gentlemen, since I have seen and laid eyes on you. We are very fortunate tonight to have joining us in the 5th seat, the one and only Dr. DeAndre Pickett. Dr. Pickett, how are you doing, my brother?
I am wonderful. I am glad that I wasn't the only one who got the Scully and glasses kick. So I appreciate. I ain't got the beard, but you know, I'm working on that.
You're working on it. You know what? I had a beard. Did you guys see pictures? Did you guys actually catch any of me over the holiday with my beard?
I did. Yes, I did.
It was very full. It was very thick, but I got rid of the beard because it aged me.
I think you could have it.
And you know, everyone knows how I am about aging. If it isn't happening backwards, it's not going to happen.
You should have kept it. You should have kept it.
No, that beard is for you. It's not for me. And I like to do. I can't do the beard. I can't. I'm not gonna even say that. Oh my God, I was gonna say something horrible. I will talk about it after we.
Well, hey, shout out to having 2 doctors tonight. We have 2 doctors.
We have 2 doctors in the house. And we have, gentlemen, a lot to talk about. Everybody, how are you guys doing out there? You guys have missed us. You need to chat with us. Let us know who you are. We have a good number of viewers already here. We missed you guys too, and we are ready to jump right into the business with our very first topic. Like, we have a lot to talk about. Let's go right into it. And let's talk about the inauguration. I thought I was going to share screen. And while I'm getting my technical difficulties clearly ironed out with the share screen, it must have canceled the share screen. Hold on, here we go. Gentlemen, we are right here talking about the dawn of a brand new day and a brand new age in America. We are no longer living in the Trump era. We are living in the Biden-Harris era. Gentlemen, I know you saw this inauguration. I know that you've seen a lot happen in the first couple of days. What are your thoughts?
I thought Bruce was going to start. I mean, everything from the inauguration was great. It was a little bit different this year, of course, because of Corona. But, you know, I think his speech was great. I think what he's doing so far is great as far as signing some executive orders and trying to get things in place. Of course, you know, him and Harris have a lot of things to fix on what Trump did, but I think they're off to a great start. And also Michelle Obama. I mean, can we talk about Michelle Obama, how great she looked and how she came out? And she just looked amazing, as always. She never fails me. So it was good to see her and, you know, everyone that just came to support.
So it's great to see Mama Vera here with us. We love Mama Vera. You know, I've been fortunate enough to meet Mama Vera at several events as I've supported Darius, our Five Guys on Live brother, and it's always great to see Mama Vera with us. CJ, when you talk about Kamala, you know, Michelle, do you feel as though Michelle overshadowed everybody else that day? Because she really has got a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's not on purpose. That's just who she is. Like, she's graceful, she's beautiful, she's poised, she's all that. So, like, when she came in, she owns it. And, you know, and she stole the show, as rightfully so.
Gentlemen, what are your thoughts? This is now an iconic spread, and I don't know why it says a Facebook user, but whoever you are, just tell us your name. Like, say who your name is, because I don't know what's going on. Do some weird stuff. I think we all know why it's probably doing some weird stuff. This is the thing. We definitely had a young Black designer who designed Michelle Obama as well as Vice President Kamala Harris's look. The same young man. But it's Michelle's look that's getting a lot of praise. I want to know, you know, kind of what you think, you know, about the outfits in general.
I've been talking. I mean, just real quick. So, of course, I mean, Kamala looks great. She's a beautiful Black woman. But just everything about Michelle and who she is. I mean, she just owns her look. She owns it. I'm sorry. I think that's all I can say. She owns it. And she came out just very much like, I'm here, very much unbothered. And she knows she looked amazing. So, again, all the women look great. But, I mean, if I had to choose one, of course, I'm giving it to Michelle.
Yeah, I think that this year's inauguration not only celebrated the inaugurating of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but also took the place of the Met Gala. I think that the fashion really overshadowed everything. The intention of the inauguration. Shout out to I think it was Joe Biden's 3 granddaughters. They got a lot of praise and focus on those coats that trench coats that they were wearing. Gaga, Jennifer Lopez, Barack Obama suit, Joe Biden suit. So I think that due to Corona, everybody's fashion game and intentions of trying to, be dressy got pulled away. So now when you get the opportunity to show out, you're going to show out. So I think that's what a lot of people came to do, was really, really show out. For me, it was the entire inauguration brought back a sense of normalcy for me. Like I could sort of breathe a little bit calmer. We sort of ushered out the crazy and then brought in a new day, like you said, Zach. Shout out to Lady Gaga. I thought she did a phenomenal job singing the national anthem. In my opinion, she's very Broadway-esque, so she approached it in the Gaga way. That's all you can expect for Gaga to do. So I appreciated who Gaga is. I sort of tuned out when J-Lo performed, but I saw how everybody was getting on her. Thought she was speaking in tongues and stuff like that. When she performed, so that was funny. And yeah, I thought Joe Biden hit some great moments in his speech. And my favorite part actually was before the inauguration, the night before they did a ceremony or a candlelight vigil for the 400,000 Americans that unfortunately passed away due to the pandemic. The nurse that I want to give a shout out, her name is Miss Lori Marie Key. She performed Amazing Grace and killed it. And then right after her, Yolanda Adams came in and performed Hallelujah and smashed it. So I thought that was like, I want to say maybe the first time that we actually saw something of a respect or homage going towards the people that have been affected based by the disease or what have you. So yeah, those are my things.
Can we talk about Bernie Sanders too?
Hold that thought. I do want to echo, this is my good friend Ferris, and I was blessed to be able to go to the first inauguration of President Barack Hussein Obama in January of 2009, and I was able to go with my good friend Ferris, and we were able to experience this whole amazing. It was a moment of my life. It was one of the best moments of my life, some of the best memories of my life, and I agree with you, Ferris, 100%. The emotions and the feelings and the level of love and respect were exactly the same. When I look back at having watched the 45th president of the United States get sworn in during his inauguration with a crowd of almost nobody there. It was raining, it was dark, it was dreary. It was truly a portend of things to come that we experienced during that administration. So you literally saw the sun beaming down on the Capitol and some of the pictures. It was a great moment, a proud moment, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Dr. Pickett, what was your inauguration highlight?
Well, I was slightly irritated because I'd made the conscious decision not to go because I actually had a ticket to go. But I was not comfortable with going. But I will say, for me, I wanted to enjoy it. I really wanted to enjoy it, but unfortunately, I was on pins and needles the entire time because I was nervous, only because of the fact of what could have happened. And so because of the fact, I was glad they went forth and had it outside, but unfortunately, I was on pins and needles from the time he was doing his speech, from the time that they were swearing her in. I just didn't know. And I can't, and we can't say, well, don't be a Debbie Downer. At the end of the day, we have seen, we didn't expect that to happen 2 weeks ago. So we can't necessarily say that we don't know, because unfortunately the Trumpsters are still out there and they still pissed and they still mad. And so at the end of the day, I wasn't sure. However, I was glad that it did happen. I was glad, of course, the fashions were amazing. It was good to see people happy again. It was good to see people joyous again. Michelle didn't come with that bun. She came with her hair all the way laid, because 4 years ago she came with that bun in her hair. Remember, she came to the inauguration like, I'm ready to get on this plane and go back to Chicago. Let me get out of here. She came here like she came excited. So it was good to see everybody laughing and joyous. For me, which may not be a popular opinion, I honestly also respected the fact that I saw our outgoing vice president at this inauguration. The fact that he, at least, if nothing else, he had enough decency and respect to at least come. Now, you can say what you want to say, but the man didn't have to come, because he could have done what the person came, but at least he had enough decency and respect to pay respect to it. Now, granted, I don't agree with a lot of stuff. I didn't agree with pretty much nothing he did. But one of the things I can say I agree with, the fact that at least he had enough decency to do what it looks like is to give proper transition of power and actually be there. And so if nothing else, it spoke to what Joe Biden wants, which is a way to bring the country together. How that's going to look, I don't know. But at least, even if for a day, even if it was for show, whatever case may be, it was good to see it. And so, needless to say, I am, and I'm excited also. Now, and I'm actually I'm still irritated at Justice Sotomayor for messing up her name, because you had one job, and that was to say her name right. You had one job, and so if I was her, I would have had her stop and do it all over again, so that I could have made sure my name was right. But other than that, it was absolutely amazing.
So, Darius, I definitely want to talk to you about your thoughts, because, I know that you are wearing inauguration purple.
Yeah,
and
this is my bipartisan purple.
Okay, and I get that. You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because it's exactly what I'm going to talk about really briefly with Dr. Pickett. DeAndre is a true moderate. Is that fair to say, DeAndre? Can I say that? Is that appropriate, that you are very much a centrist, moderate liberal?
Okay.
And I want to go on record as telling everybody in the world that I'm a liberal progressive. DeAndre is more in the center. I think many people watching who are here are probably more in the center, and we want to see that unity. Let me tell you something. These Republicans that are in power, that have been in power for the last 4 years, they did nothing to unify. They only divided and pushed their agenda. They have taken America so far back that if President Biden and Vice President Harris and Senate Majority Leader Schumer and House Leader Pelosi focus on unity, we are not going to make progress. We're going to make small incremental gains that will only result in being turned back as soon as they lose power, because they have to do exactly what Trump did and appeal to a base of voters, the majority of people in this United States who elected them. I get that Mike Pence coming was a sign of his character, but I don't think that many of us ever truly questioned the conservative Republican values of Mike Pence. I don't think anyone ever really did. But at the end of the day, he was only there for his own political gain. I believe Mike Pence could care less about working with Joe Biden, supporting Vice President Harris. I believe he only went there because now there is a vacuum in the Republican Party that he seeks to fill. He wants to be the next president of these United States and send a whole bunch of y'all on the bus to conversion therapy. Now y'all trying to come to pick me up.
Okay, so that's beautiful. However,
it's the truth. It's not.
I'm not going to argue because I'm not going to argue that, because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer you can't argue the truth. But what you can argue is the fact that I don't necessarily care. I mean, for me, I don't care what because at that point, I didn't care what his reason for being there, because he was on his way out. At the end of the day, I was just admiring the fact that if nothing else, he at least made the effort, because again, he didn't even go to his homeboys farewell. He decided to stay right there and at least go there, and he couldn't do both. And so at the end of the day, I just felt at least you were at least decent enough. And when you say, I don't think we question, I actually do question him, because of the fact that he's been wishy-washy all 4 years. And so I don't necessarily know if I can't say I questioned, his moderate beliefs. I do, because he didn't get a backbone until he got threatened. He didn't get a backbone until his life was at threat. That backbone happened on that Wednesday.
And what they say, DeAndre? What did they say?
Say it again.
Yeah, what they say, Vince? Hang Mike Pence.
Yeah, that came there. So I'm not necessarily saying I agree with that. That's when the backbone came. But if nothing else, I can at least acknowledge the fact that you said, listen, I'm here, I'm giving up the power. But other than that, no, I can't argue with that.
I'm with you, Dr. Pickett. And also, like, aside from it just being a show of respect to the incoming president, it was such a show of disrespect to the outgoing president that I think that we all were just like, yes, Mike Pence, you better skip out on Trump and go on where you're going, because, we had enough of that. But I know that, we can talk about this all day, but I just want to say, I don't know about y'all, but I've been having like election, separation anxiety. Have y'all been because before, listen, let me tell you why, because before, my phone was blowing up every day, and now I don't get any text messages on my phone. So I want to let y'all know today that I am accepting applicants for people who want to text my phone, and I'm going to hold interviews on February 14th all day, and we're going to see who is going to be the last person standing. But understand that the applications will be screened by Dr. Kirk. And so if you're not a Scorpio and if you qualify for the stimulus check, you might not make it through. If you don't qualify for the stimulus check, you might get prioritized consideration. Okay.
Are you doing interviews on Valentine's Day?
On Valentine's Day. What other day? What else am I going to be doing on that day, CJ? What are you going to be doing on that day?
Minding my business.
Okay, so do that. And I'm going to be minding mine too. So that's all I have to say about the inauguration.
Will you be at traffic on Sunday?
You say what?
Will you be at traffic?
Valentine's Day is not on a Sunday.
It is on a Sunday, actually.
Is it really?
It is.
I hadn't noticed, but yeah.
So
I'll
be at traffic. I'll be at church. While y'all out there in traffic, I'm at church being saved.
He'll be at traffic.
I'll be at church.
He'll be at traffic.
Oh, okay.
And not like this. He'll be at traffic though.
No, yeah, I can't do any more texts, no more calls, especially somebody. And I want to also apologize because I worked on campaigns and I know how hard it was when I saw those. And so I want to apologize on behalf of Raphael Warnock, on behalf of John Ossoff, on behalf of every Black organization, NAACP, Black PAC. I would apologize to my mama, anybody who texts you. I want to apologize because I promise you, as much as I was working on them, I got the same ones, and I promise you, I wanted to cuss just as much.
But no,
I'm agreeing with you, Dr. Pickett, because it was like every other 5 minutes I was getting a text message from different area codes, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I get, yes, we got the word. You need to go out and vote. Yes,
but listen, we can't have it both ways. We can't thank Stacey Abrams for having 800,000 plus people get registered to vote, but then demonize people who are texting and volunteering their time to do that. If we took our behinds to the polls every election, then people would not have been so pressed blowing up our phones. However, I do wish that there was a way that I can just once I post my peach, stop trying to reach me. Once I post my okay.
Right.
Yeah, I just think that what they have to do though, and this in all seriousness, I think there needs to be better data collection because of the fact that what you can do, it's a beautiful thing that we are receiving those, but ultimately what you can do is you can actually alienate and you can potentially hurt that base. And what may happen is you may actually hurt people because people may feel bombarded and they may feel like, well, I'm not going, because now they may feel stressed. And so you got to be very careful that you don't get it to a point where people get sick of it. And I'm not going in that. So it's kind of be mindful of how we do it, but let's also be very clear. That election is over. We're in 2021. There are more elections coming. Don't get sidetracked.
So we are right now 2022. We are getting ready for 2022.
No, we're getting ready for 2021 because you got mayoral elections, you got city council elections. Right. So let's not start waiting for midterm election. We need people to start thinking about city councils, start thinking about mayorals because Atlanta's mayor is up for election. So we got to be making sure those things are looked at as well because again, politics is always local.
Now, what about the governor?
I agree with voting in every election. I just want to emphasize that in 2022, we are absolutely going to vote in November of 2021. There is no question about it. And we got some big things happening. Yep, I think we already know that Felicia Moore is going to run and going to challenge Mayor Keyshia Lance Bottoms. I will, Mont Parish, post this on your behalf. This is something that we will talk about probably next week. I won't go in depth this week. I have a lot of thoughts on it and a lot of feelings about it. But what I will say is that in addition to the 2021 election, we have, a race with Stacey Abrams going to very likely run against Brian Kemp. We are living in the state of Georgia. In this state, COVID-19 is at an unprecedented rate. We have multiple variants of COVID-19 in our state because our local leaders failed to protect us. Keyshia Lance Bottoms tried to put in policies that would protect the people of Georgia. Brian Kemp undid those policies. Brian Kemp stood up in his State of the State address, and this man said that the people who died of COVID-19 these were American heroes. I don't want to negate the loss of their life, but it wasn't that they were American heroes. These people were Georgia victims.
Okay,
they were American victims. Our government failed to protect us and failed specifically to protect the most vulnerable and the elderly and people that have succumbed to this disease. We have over 20,000 Georgians dead of COVID-19. We have maxed out hospitalization rates at Grady Hospital and other hospitals. And on top of that, in the state of Georgia, we have the lowest vaccination rate in the United States of America. The lowest vaccination rate per population amount compared to the amount of vaccine that we have. This is an overall absolute failure. And this man, Governor Brian Kemp, needs to be held accountable and he needs to be immediately removed from office. I want to criticize our elected officials right now who are serving us under the Gold Dome.
Right.
Because I have not seen them talk about this. I have not seen them tweeting about this. I have not seen them attacking our governor in the way that he needs to be attacked. And that's how you get a man out of office. It's not just about texting people to vote. It's not just about calling people to vote. It's about putting on blast this man's failure. And he has most certainly failed.
In something that I read, it's funny that you mentioned that. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, some story broke the news saying that the GOP, the Georgia GOP, was looking at getting Kemp out of office. Like they're looking at proposing a running mate themselves because they are pissed at him per how he handled the whole Trump Secretary of State voting. Kemp didn't come out and defend Trump, that whole kind of situation. So I think the governor election could be pretty intense in the event that Stacey Abrams runs again too. Because on the Trevor Noah show that she did maybe 3 weeks ago, she said that, or 2 weeks ago, she said that she was not running. But I don't know if that's just a political game, maybe too soon to announce it, if you will. But all in all, I did want to put those two things out there.
And, I do believe that. And I do think, I do strongly believe that Doug Collins is probably going to challenge him because Doug Collins was probably one of his biggest opponents during that time frame because Doug Collins really came out against what he's been doing. But I will say, as far as Keyshia is concerned, again, I'm never going to bash a black woman. I'm never going to bash a black woman. But what I will say is, again, you cannot argue with logic and you cannot argue with the truth. And all I'll say about that is Kemp did not become her enemy until she crossed her. So she was always Team Kemp until, every time I turn around, she was King. I thank Kemp. So we got to be very careful also about how we give these kudos and these praises to these politicians, because at the end of the day, Keyshia's has not fully been, she's kind of going in that direction that the person before her did. She kind of went national. And because she went so national, people in the state of in our city or in the city were like, where's our mayor? Why isn't our mayor? So it's kind of like you got to be very careful. So it's great. We had a one black woman serving and doing the work, but she hasn't fully been what she needed to be for that city. So because of that, when people go out there and vote, and when people start looking at policies, let's not just vote because she was on for Joe Biden, but let's make sure that whoever's running, whatever position is, that you're voting for people because they've been doing the work, they've been sitting and making sure that they've been doing what's best for the people. And I just want to make sure that narrative is put out there, and that's not just say that we don't want to, put it all on Kemp, because we also have to put the blame where blame needs to be as well. So he didn't do his part, but she sure as hell didn't do her part either.
Right. So all in all, it's important to be informed and not influenced. I think that's what you're trying to say in the nutshell. But for me, I don't know all the nitty gritty about Keyshia and all this stuff. One thing before Zach chime in, because I know he ready. One thing that I do have to applaud our community on is literally from November up until the senatorial election, the wealth of education and knowledge that went forth from when we all vote, the memes, the GIFs, the social media videos on the importance of why we need to vote for local, why we need to vote for state, and they made it very relatable, hip hop, like all of that. Like it was very, very, very great to see that just a lot of all the generations, especially the millennial generation, Generation Z, those students or young folk, whatever, that are able to vote, that they were getting more inclined. And it's not, again, they weren't influenced, they were informed, because it was just some great information going on out there. So I do have to applaud us for doing that and not going to the polls blind.
It wasn't COVID friendly.
So I went and looked up Dr. Famu Piku. He's an artist. And you're right, Dr. Pickett looks indeed like Dr. Famu Piku a little bit. I saw some of the art popped up and I was like, wow, this is some good stuff. Let me say this. I'm not going to lie. Cerinthia is what, you're right. Y'all right. I'm not gonna lie and say that she has not let the national attention somewhat distract her from what's happening. But I do want to make something very clear and known about the issue. Darius, I would assume that Mont, you speak for Mont, he's your friend.
How did you know that Mont was my friend?
I'm just assuming because see, I don't want to, Mont, we love you and value you. If Darius loves and value you, here's the thing. I say that because I would assume he's a younger. This is the thing, guys. I want you guys to think, everybody on this live, I want you to just do a moment and think about what Keyshia Lance Bottoms has dealt with this year. Now, the American sentiment around police involvement has flipped, and it's flipped because of conservative Republican media. In the summer, Keyshia Lance Bottoms led the city of Atlanta again in the killing of Rayshard Brooks to swift and decisive action, faster than most people. But before she led the quick removal of our beloved police chief against what many moderates and conservatives and Republicans wanted, standing up and supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and defund the police, she got on national television and she denounced rioting and looting, and the Black community tore her up. Black people in this city ripped Keyshia Lance Bottoms apart because she was arguing against lawlessness and looting. Here we are now, 6 months later, and we're talking about Keyshia Lance Bottoms is letting crime get out of hand. We cannot turn our backs on a strong Black woman because of the sentiments of conservative Republican Atlanta, because that's what they want us to do. I'm not saying that I'm going for Keyshia Lance Bottoms no matter what. I love Felicia. I believe that Felicia's time will come next. But as of right now, I'm riding with my homegirl Keyshia. I'm with Keyshia. I stand with Colin Kaepernick and Keyshia Lance Bottoms. Darius.
I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna say that, but I don't vote in the city of Atlanta. I vote elsewhere because I live elsewhere permanently and officially. But it's okay to denounce the rioting and looting, but you also need to make sure that you are vocal about the need to protest. And that's something that was her misstep. You can denounce one thing while encouraging the other as long as it is peaceful. And she did not do that. And as someone, her stance was more like, you're not going to out-concern me. That's what she said. You're not going to out-concern me, as if no one else could be more concerned or as concerned as she was. And her misstep was that she did not empower the people who put her in office to also voice their frustration. So while I do agree with you that she should have been denouncing the rioting and the looting, she also will have to take ownership and responsibility for what she did not do in that moment.
And what we also have to understand is I'm not also going to argue with the fact that she did speak up. So yes, by all means, she did speak up. and that was last year. But the reason why people were giving her the business had nothing to do with the riot. It had everything to do with the fact that you were elected in 2017. We didn't really hear from you until 2020. So let's be very clear. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with it, because you had housing issues that happened in your state from 2018 to 2020. You had individuals who were in the trans community who did not receive the funding that they were supposed to receive for the check they waited 3 years for 3 years. There were individuals who absolutely could not. You actually were dealing with, there were people who actually could not, they were dealing with that the Gulf issue down by the Georgia Dome and by the Phillips, by the arena. And they were trying to figure out, because you were fighting with the city of Atlanta and they were not getting their fair share of the money. So there were multiple issues going on over the course of 3 years. And then finally, you decide you want to be a mayor in the year before your election. And that becomes the problem with elected officials. Elected officials begin to start doing things when it's time for re-election again. And you start speaking up, but if you still were not doing what you were supposed to do for your city. So though I agree, she stood up and she was there for the rioting, and she made sure that she spoke against injustice, and enough is enough. But boo-boo, you were a mayor for 4 years, not one. And so we got to be very careful about how we speak this narrative of, oh, she's wonderful, that's beautiful. But again, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do for your constituents all 4 years, then you don't need to be there. And so that's my problem, my concern with her. And if she wins again, I pray that she's listening to the constituents and she's listening to what she needs to be doing and setting her legacy, not setting herself up for what's next, but literally setting her legacy. And that's my problem and my issues with being with Keyshia. But you can still ride with her. But that's my issue.
I'm trying to tell you, because my Spelman sisters, they almost had to meet her in the parking lot for their commencement. They did not want sis coming onto the commencement stage. They were over it.
They may have been, they may have been. Now, just a little bit earlier, CJ brought up the one and the only Senator Bernie Sanders. For many people, the inauguration fashion was the actual highlight of the inauguration, but I feel as though Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, the despondent runner-up to the Democratic nominee, literally took a lot of the claim to fame. We got some good stuff. Everyone, DeAndre, you are a fan fave. We definitely are glad you're here. Do some good work. He always does, guys. DeAndre's a good friend of mine. He does great work, looking like Dr. Fumu. And so with that being said, you got Bernie said, I want to go to UCJ. I want you to tell us about kind of maybe some of your favorite memes. I pulled a handful of these to share with everyone. You may have seen this one.
Oh no.
Okay, so let me take the mask off. I had to keep the mask on because we were talking about the state of Georgia, and
not for my own, since you're taking yours off.
Clearly, we live in a state where Corona people act like Corona don't exist. So that's why I had to put that on when you was talking about Georgia and Keyshia Lance Bottoms and all that.
We got Bernie Sanders sitting here with NWA.
My favorite one was the one where he had the Monica Hills on. And when he was sitting in front of Bulldogs.
That was your favorite one?
No, Bulldogs and the Monica one, when he was in the Monica video with the heels on.
Bernie, I love the Bernie at the strip club. That was one of my favorites. They also had one with Bernie on Game of Thrones. I thought that was a good one as well. I just want to congratulate and say that I am thankful to be a Black man in America at this time so that I can partake and fully appreciate Black Twitter. All of this came from the creativity and the innovation on Black Twitter. I love Twitter. People say Twitter's played. I believe that Instagram is played. I think Twitter has a whole lot of life left. So I really did enjoy the memes. In addition to, and again, I want to clarify something for everyone here. This is Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. I want you to take a good look at him, although he has on a mask. He is alive and well, and he's in mittens. This is Larry King. They're not the same person. This gentleman passed away this weekend. Rest in peace to Larry King. CJ, this is something that you said also touched you. Tell us about your relationship with Larry King.
Well, I didn't know him personally, but he's been in my life for many, many years. And he was across the world. He has done a numerous of different type of interviews with numerous of different people, and he just his interview techniques and the way he was very inquisitive and how he conducted his interviews was always something I always looked up to, because that's something I like to do. And just his spirit and the way he conveyed himself was just amazing. I wish it was someone I could have met in my lifetime. He's just truly an icon. And just knowing his story and how he started with radio and to where he came into his own show with Larry King Live, it was just an amazing journey.
This is why, CJ, I said he touched you in a mighty special way, because you picked this story. And I was thinking to myself, Larry King is dead, Hank Aaron is dead, we love them all, but what made you pick this as your story for the night?
Literally when I was thinking about topics, literally I had just heard about Larry King, and being that I do aspire to be like an interviewer and talk show host and things like that, I just feel like I want to talk about it. It was not like choosing one over the other, it's just why I chose it.
So when anyone else want to share any reflections on the amazing life that was Larry King? And we love this show, it's some great stuff, but
I'll hop in. It's funny because a group of my friends, I think he was, how old was he? 87 when he passed? 85, 87?
87.
87, I think. But we were talking, and we were saying that Larry King, we thought he was 87 when we were 3 years old. Like, I feel like he just been looking the same way for decades, right? But to CJ's point, I feel like Larry King, in terms of just being a media personality, a great interviewer, a news anchor, a correspondent, he is the standard. And even though, different media personalities have their different styles and it's very vast, different personality types, I still feel like if you are wanting to invest yourself and become more knowledgeable or have a role model in this industry that Larry King is in, that he needs to be one of those people. Just with the media training, just the way he just positioned himself. I'm reading something right now that his career, he conducted over 30,000 interviews, and he interviewed every president from Gerald Ford to President Barack Obama. So this man is a legacy. Like, this is a true definition of a legacy. So for me, when he passed away, you hate when anybody passes away, but in my heart, I was like, that's officially like a job well done. Like, you have literally left a mark that cannot be erased on the world culture. So yeah, kudos to Larry King.
Kudos to Larry King, and also kudos finally to Versuz. This was another Senator Sanders meme that came out, and it was Senator Sanders waiting, like many of you were, for the Keyshia Cole and Ashanti Versuz battle to start. Vince, I didn't watch it. I'm like, you had the first night, my friends and I were going to watch my COVID bubble. I have a small COVID bubble. Thank God for the bubble. We have been safe thus far. Knock on wood, that no one has yet contracted COVID-19. We've maintained our bubble, and we've done the right things to keep the bubble pure. And we were planning to meet for the first time. Somebody got COVID, canceled. Got it, no problem. The second time, we also made plans to come together and watch the battle. It was canceled, and that's when we said, we're done. We're not going to watch it again. So even though they came back, we refused to watch it and protest at them being disrespectful of life. But tell us about it, and tell us about it. We have a user here saying throw the whole Versuz battle away. Yes, we have kept it pure Christian, and somebody else says a hot mess. You watched it, Vince. You are a musician yourself. You are doing great work with music, doing some great stuff with former Versuz star Monica, doing some good stuff. Tell us your perspective on this battle.
You know what? They say third time's a charm. I was actually in the position that you were in, Zach, about protesting because it was canceled so many times. But apparently, this was the highest viewed Versuz. They had over 8 million people tune in.
Wait.
Yeah, that's what Keyshia put out there, and that's what Sis put out there. Apparently, but for me, I have to say they had to pull those numbers from like Apple Music or something like that, because after they took that break, It literally, I was watching on Instagram. It went from 1.1 million to 800,000 to 700,000 to 500.
I don't think
like,
that's
it's like
accurate.
progressed. So I was like, where's this 8 million? Maybe when it initially hopped on, maybe 8 million was watching. I don't know. Right?
Who said that? Who said
I
that?
don't know. But all in all, okay. So I'm gonna put it to you like this because I had time to sort of sit with it and marinate on it. For me. I had to come from a place where you have to love and meet people from where they are. And I know in past conversations we've had on this show in terms of just artistry, Keyshia and Ashanti come from a different time of Monica and Brandy, of Whitney and Mariah. So in terms of, for me personally, in terms of media training, in terms of artist development, punctuality, that may not have been a stickler for that generation as generations of artists that we know and love today. But I listened to Keyshia Cole's, I think she was on somebody's Instagram show. She finally apologized 2 days after the fact of, for the reason of why she was late. I think everybody was pissed because we know that you are doing this from your house. How you late in your own house? Make it make sense. And then we had to watch Ashanti do a karaoke show for 30 to 45 minutes. She's singing Tevin Campbell. And I'm like, hold on, partner. Why am I to sit up here and watch you sing Tevin Campbell for 30 minutes, Ashanti? What is going on? So by the time Keyshia came on, she had the full out attitude. How you late got attitude and then don't even apologize off the cuff? Oh yeah, the Bow Wow comment. Yeah, Keyshia was never late when he called her. He did say that. You know, Bow Wow always like to chime in. Oh, what have you? So I feel like because of the punctuality issue, we were not able to really enjoy the content. We were not able to enjoy the music because it moves so quick. Past versus battles, you know, Gladys and Patty, they actually talked through the songs, set everything up. We got some backstories behind the songs. It was like Keyshia, Ashanti, Keyshia, Ashanti, Keyshia, Ashanti. And then both of them were singing live. So it's like,
okay, I mean,
did it sound good? Did it sound good, Vince?
Wait, no,
it had moments.
Moments.
It had moments. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus. So, first of all, everything was wrong about this versus everything. First of all, to the two contestants, you cannot put Ashanti and Keyshia Cole in the same category. Ashanti, beautiful lady, she cannot sing, okay? It should have been Keyshia Cole versus K. Michelle. I'm sorry. Mind you, and Keyshia Cole has more hits than Ashanti. Second of all, the whole late thing, how the hell are you going to come late and then have an attitude when you're late? Like, she had a whole attitude. Child, she's probably in the back frying some fish, getting fish plates ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what she was doing?
She said, my bad. She said that she was late because of the technical difficulties because her screen was blurry on the IG feed.
Well, I don't know what it was. And then, furthermore, why were they in two separate homes? Like, when did they start doing that? Like, I mean, was she afraid?
Ashanti caught COVID the first time.
Right. So we know that, but I'm saying, so now she was cleared. So, like, is Keyshia afraid to be around her, or what?
Well, Swiss, after Ashanti caught COVID, Swiss came out on the Versuz channel saying that from moving forward, for I guess this time, whatever time frame, that they'll be going back to the two separate places because of the pandemic.
Well, nevertheless, it shouldn't have took place. I don't see Ashanti versus Keyshia Cole. I definitely would have did Keyshia Cole versus K. Michelle. Their voices are too different. You know, Ashanti paid Patti LaBelle for singing lessons a few years ago, you know, allegedly, and she still can't sing. You know, she ruined that song, So Into You, that was originally done by Tamia, and Fabulous was wrong for even putting her on the damn song. And yeah, I just wasn't here for the verses. I really wasn't. You know, Ashanti was more of a feature girl than a single girl.
I'm sorry, though, I thought the pettiest thing for me was when Ashanti called out J-Lo. I think a lot of people were waiting for that.
Right, but you know she was going to do it, though. You knew she was going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
so that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, but for me, the whole verses was whack. Like, Keyshia definitely had more bangers. Keyshia won that, regardless of what people think. Keyshia won that.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Wait, my mom is texting me, asking me if I'm okay. I'm just over here adding up the excuses to see, like, how long does it take you to make it to performance that you agreed to take part in? Like, I just don't.
Yeah, I just wasn't here for it. I really wasn't. Vocally, and like to the Tevin Campbell thing, Ashanti, why are you trying to sing it? You could barely sing your own song, I'm Happy. Cut it out. Like, I'm done with it. I was done with it completely.
I'm confused.
Funny story.
They looked great, though. The women looked great. They looked great. But Ashanti to Keyshia Cole, again, you can't put them in the same category. You really can't.
So when I was an undergrad, we actually had a performance with Ashanti with the world-renowned Morehouse College Glee Club. Ray Charles was being honored with a stamp, and Ashanti was one of the honored guests who was performing, and she sang her song that I couldn't be without you, baby. What's the name of that song? I'm so happy, baby. What's the name of the song?
I'm happy.
That's happy.
Happy. Mm-hmm. But she replaced the word baby with Ray. And so the whole time she was singing that she couldn't be without you, Ray. I couldn't see you without the Ray. And then after the performance, she announced, yeah, the original song says that I couldn't be without you, baby. But I wanted to change it to say that I couldn't be without you, Ray. I've been done with Ashanti since that day. I have nothing for her. I have nothing for Ashanti. I love you. I have nothing for her.
Yeah, I was bumping to more Keyshia songs than Ashanti songs, to be honest with you.
Okay, so here's my question. So I'm confused. So people are saying that Ashanti won the verses, but you guys are saying Keyshia sounded better. I'm confused.
Ashanti, in my opinion, Ashanti won the verses because she was on time and she had a better presentation and she was more tactful and more well-rounded than what Keyshia presented at that moment. I think a lot of people went into it going for Keyshia, like CJ and myself, because I think Keyshia has a more expansive catalog, because there was even more hits that
she could sing more vocal. She's more vocally inclined.
Yeah, that Keyshia didn't even play, but because the fact that Ashanti was on time and again was just more well-rounded and presentable, that's, for me, I think that's why people sort of lean to her favor.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't.
You feel like Keyshia did better?
As far as catalog wise, track wise, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Keyshia Cole definitely has more hits than Ashanti. Ashanti was the first lady of Murder Inc., okay, or the princess, and she got this title as the princess of R&B. How did she get that title? Who gave her that title? I really don't know who gave her that title, but she had that title. And I think Ashanti only had like 2 albums. She had her first debut album, which was her self-titled album. Then she had Chapter 2. Then she had
Declaration.
No, Concrete. The Declaration.
Yeah, Concrete Rose, and then the Declaration.
Yeah, and then but really after Chapter 2, like no one really featured Ashanti. Ashanti was more of a feature girl because she looked good, and she would do a lot of feature tracks. Like she actually got her first start with Fat Joe. She was in the background. No, with Big Pun. She was on the Big Pun song. She did the background for that.
Well, speaking of Big Pun, this is what someone said Keyshia Cole looked like leaving the versus battle. Keyshia getting up and leaving mid-song during the Ashanti. That was one of the memes. One other meme on Twitter, everyone always loves to bring back CJ's very good friend, fellow Sagittarius, the one and only Lanithia Leaks. And it said, Keyshia, when Ashanti pulled out all the hits and she knew it was over. Nah. So again, I don't know. A Facebook user here says that Ashanti's always on time.
Oh. She's not always there when you call, though. So, I mean...
also said that according to Billboard, Ashanti won based on the voting that they had. And another Facebook user said they had us waiting like a Greek probate show.
I'm done with it.
Okay, well, this is
shout out to Nene in that. The Lanithia opening up very soon, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Nene. Sweeter than a honey bun. Yeah,
the Lanithia Lounge is
speaking of Lanithia, many people are, we're back with a new season. So too are the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have not been together since the new season has started. Many people in the social media world are saying this is hands down the worst season of the Real Housewives of Atlanta in 13 seasons, and that it is literally unwatchable. What, gentlemen, do you think about this current season if you've watched it?
It's definitely a snooze fest. I will say that. And to play devil's advocate, I mean, I get it with the climate that we're in right now. I think that they were just trying to rush to get the show done, which is poor on Bravo. However, I will say I do like how they're showcasing, Portia, but really in hindsight, it's like we already knew about it. Like everything that they're talking about we knew about it already through the summertime because it was being broadcast. It was on the news, through social media. Like, we knew what was going on with Portia, how she was getting locked up and how she was, out there protesting and, taking a stance and trying to follow her grandfather's legacy. And then really honest, the highlight of this season is going to be the whole sex scandal, which we knew about that too, because they were talking about that on Wendy Williams earlier this year, like when it happened. So, I mean, and also the season's going to be short because I think they only did so many episodes because of Corona. So it's not going to be like.
What sex scandal?
So Cynthia had a bachelorette party or whatever, a party for her wedding. And allegedly, Tanya Sams and Portia Williams had sex with one of the strippers that were there entertaining for the night. And mind you, the entertainer that was on the show, he was on season, I want to say 4, when Candy launched her bedroom sex candy toys. He was one of the strippers. And he was on Vivica A. Fox show at, what was her show? You remember the show that Vivica had? I forgot the name. It was like the stripper show. Sexual Chocolate? None of you guys know it? Well, anyway, Vivica A. Fox had a show a while ago about strippers, and he was also on that show as well. So yeah, that's going to be the big highlight of the show, but like the show is definitely a snooze fest, for sure.
And I'll just jump in, like, Zach, you said that the fans on like social media are saying that it's like the worst season in history, but the ratings are saying that also. This has been the lowest rated season since the pilot, which occurred in season 1. So the only episode that had as low ratings as this one was the pilot, when no one even knew who the Real Housewives were. Now, granted, as CJ mentioned, the Black Lives Matter storyline has been good to watch it unfold, because we do know from Instagram what's going on, but to actually see the specifics and to see how the ladies rallied around Portia, with the exception of Kenya Snore, was good to see. And so it's just, I think that, unlike CJ, I think that is not about the climate of America right now, because Real Housewives of Potomac did very well. Potomac's reunion did better than the first and second episode of Atlanta, with them airing on the same night. And Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is gaining traction as well. These reality TV shows are gaining traction, but the Housewives of Atlanta made poor casting decisions. Nene wanted to play hardball, but they didn't want to play ball with Nene. They thought that they would be okay without her. I'm just going to put some pretty younger girls on the show and it'll be fine. And I'm trying to figure out who asked for younger girls to be on the show. I don't know who it was that was asking for it, but that's what they're giving us. And LaToya and Drew can both go. Now,
Drew's not even in the show. She's never even showcased it.
Who?
Drew, like, she's never really in it. Like, between her husband, I mean, but like she doesn't have that many scenes so far.
Right. But if they really wanted to shake the table, if they wanted to get rid of Nene, they could have done that properly. They could have brought back Sheree, and we would have been fine. If they really wanted to shake the table, they should have brought back Phaedra, and Phaedra would have really been a draw for this season. However, they wanted to get rid of Nene, and they poorly prepared for what people would do. Also, there's this boycott going around. There's a petition that's talking about how Mariah Huck of Married to Medicine and Nene of Real Housewives of Atlanta has been treated as Black women who are pioneers on these shows, and how they can easily dispose of them after they've like sucked everything they can out of them. And so I think that does have something to do with the low ratings, whether or not people believe it. But like I said, they just did not, because like I said, Nene has left before and the show has been fine. Everyone has left and the show has been fine, but
it's just not good. The show is boring. The bottom line is the show is boring.
It is.
I don't understand. I think the LaToya, LaTanya, I don't know, whatever her name is.
LaToya.
Don't do that.
I don't even see her point. She's brought nothing to the show. I feel as though Tanya Sams has a much greater presence and should have been given a bigger role and opportunity before LaToya Ali or whatever her name is. I agree with you, Darius. Just because someone is a young up-and-comer doesn't mean that they're good.
Right.
Additionally, I just looked up the Portia Tanya situation, so it looks like that will be some good CJ, and that's going to be some good TV. I didn't know anything about it.
But
So,
Zach, before you move on real quick, can I ask all you all like one question as pertains to the Housewives, the brand?
I had something to say too, but go ahead.
The brand itself. The question I have is, because of the fact that we stated that the Black Lives Matter movement, and they kind of saw that play out, and we've kind of seen on occasions throughout the different branches of it try to bring in social issues. Do you think that them trying to bring in these social conscious issues is not the best? It's somewhat contradictory because of what that organization perpetuates?
No, I don't.
And I'm just curious because I've seen it to where we talk about I've seen what people have talked about. They try to bring in social issues, but then you got all the extra fighting and all the extra women's exploitation. You're doing all this. So do you think that there is some sense of it's hard for people to take them serious because they don't take a lot of the issues that they take serious on the organization? I'm just asking the question.
I don't feel that way. Dr. Pickett. And I would say this because, number one, I think that has been the highlight of the season is people seeing that Bravo has taken the time and the energy and the resources to actually highlight and, showcase the work that Portia has been doing with the Black Lives Matter movement. The other thing that we have to take into account is that a lot of times people look at these shows and say, this is not a positive representation for Black women. But who said that they're trying to be any type of representation for Black women? They're simply doing the same thing that your aunties and your uncles do when they at the table on Thanksgiving. Is some of my family members that I might agree with, and I might have discord with other people. So are we less of Black people, or are we to be demeaned as Black people? Are we, bad role models if we in our personal relationships don't always get along? I don't think that is the case. I think that they have one job and one obligation, and that's to show reality as it unfolds. And I think that the Real Housewives of Atlanta brand has done a great job of that for the past 13 years.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Darius.
For me, in terms of just the position that the Housewives sit in right now, I haven't watched an episode. I watched the first episode, and I wasn't compelled to watch anything after that. I think that I sort of correlate them to Real Housewives of Orange County. How when Orange County came out, they were the it girls, and they had a high and mighty time, but then they sort of hit a little snooze fest, and then they had to rebuild and rebrand and sort of reimagine and restructure the cast. And now they're sort of, growing more and getting back on a pinnacle that they were once on. So I feel like right now, because the Atlanta Housewives have been on this big line of success, since season 2, right now, this is their time for them to restructure and just figure things out on how they want to move forward. Because I know when we brought them up last season, in terms of this show, that in a report Bravo put out saying that they were looking for a younger audience, hence why they added Drew and Fallon, I think, is one of the new friends of the show. Shamia has, I think she's getting more screen time and has confessionals now, and things of that nature. I also do agree that I wish Tanya had a peach. I thought Tanya, actually, for me, Tanya was more prominent last season than Eva and Kenya. Because if you really look at the storyline, Tanya initiated like 3 to 4 events, or was in 3 to 4 situations more than Eva was, and Kenya, actually. So hold on real quick. So right now, I just think that I feel like the Housewives, in terms of restructuring, they should have put all the OGs in a bubble and actually did the thing they did to Nene, how last season she had like X amount of episodes lesser than everyone else. I feel like each OG housewife needs to be official, but per season they need a purging and scale back. That's what I feel like, because Candy needs a break, Cynthia needs a break, Kenya needs a break. Like these, because there's nothing going on. And if Kenya gets a peach for next season, it's because today she just announced that Mark Daly is getting a divorce, that they officially decided to divorce. So it's like, and I think people are also just sick of it, but it's a balance between people being sick of what we know they're going to do, but they're still vital to the show. So I think there's a way that Bravo needs to just restructure the OGs, purge them, chess match, like bring Sheree in, fade her back, take Candy out for 2 seasons, bring her back in, cultivate it that way. That's my opinion. Even Lisa Wu.
Lisa Wu, right. Bring Lisa Wu back.
I was going to say real quick, Tanya was offered a peach, allegedly. She was offered a peach last season and she declined.
And
then also Shamia's husband. I think Shamia has said this herself that her husband does not want her to be a full-time peach holder on the show. So they've had a lot of good people in the mix who are just like, this is not. This doesn't.
I thought Shamari was good, but they said that Ronnie didn't want her to do it no more. Yeah, Ronnie said he didn't want her doing it no more.
I like Kim Fields.
I like Claudia Jordan.
You can bring Kim Zolciak back. You can bring Kim Zolciak back.
Oh no. Kim Zolciak belongs. She can ride on over to Salt Lake City. That's where she belongs.
She has her own show. Don't be
no.
And why does she have that?
You already know why. You already know why.
Why does Kim Zolciak have her own show?
You know why.
And it's disrespectful. And that's a big part of why I support Mariah Huq in her argument against Andy. There is no reason Kim Zolciak, who has, when you look back if you just take a moment over the holidays, I ran out of TV shows. And when I'm sitting down writing and doing work, I like to watch brainless television. And I rewatched on Hulu the Real Housewives, just the reunions. That's all I watched. Kim Zolciak has done and said some really ignorant and racist things. How she treated Sweetie. Mm-hmm. Specifically, she was like, oh, no, I'm colorblind. I don't see race. When a white person doesn't see race, a white person isn't able to acknowledge racism, systemic oppression, or all the problems that we deal with as Black people. She's an ignorant woman, and I don't think that she should have any platform. Her daughter supported Donald Trump. Your daughter ain't supporting Donald Trump, but you not at home with your husband and 29 kids living on the compound, also supporting Donald Trump. Kim Zolciak is absolute garbage and should not have a platform.
You know what? Real quick, going back to Dr. Pickett's question, I'm curious. I don't know, but I'm curious to see the demographic of people and women that watch the Housewives of Atlanta, because in my mind, if let's say 75% of the viewers are like white women, and we know in terms of the racial sensitivity that we're in and them seeing that Black Lives Matter is more prominent this season, there may have been a disconnect and an uncomfortability for them to watch it season long if they're just purely wanting to watch a show for entertainment and not social justice. So that could also possibly go into why, ratings may have dropped off as well. So I'm curious if that possibly, is a thing to look at.
This is sad. It's sad. Party for the Party has been on Bravo since 2012.
And you know what's that? You know what's the sadder part? Is that Nene tried to illuminate that being an issue, but because Candy wanted to take it personally and think that Nene was coming for her, she completely derailed Nene's plan to highlight the systemic oppression and racism within Bravo. And so now it's hard for people to even hear the thing that Candy, yes, has had spinoffs that have been 3 or 4 episodes, but consistently since Kim Zolciak decided not to fulfill her contract with Real Housewives of Atlanta and walk off of the set of Real Housewives of Atlanta, she walked directly onto the set of Don't Be Tardy for the Party. How is that fair for any of the women who have been pitching other shows to this network for years?
Well, I mean, it's done. I mean, freaking Lisa Vanderpump did it, and she has her own.
Same thing.
But her show was actually successful. Don't Be Tardy for the Party is the lowest rated show on Bravo year after year after year.
Why is it still on?
Because that's Andy Cohen's good friend, and they're good friends, I'm sure, for a reason.
Well, she's friends with one of the producers. She's friends with one of the producers. And this is the other thing that I say about Candy. Candy knew what she was doing when she got with Todd. Mama Joyce.
Go ahead and put it back up, Dr. Pickett. Put it there. You can look, make it real big.
Let's be clear, Darius. Phaedra actually hooked up to Todd with Candy.
And she knew what she was doing. Candy secured the bag, but Candy also became, as Nene labeled her, Terry Crews. I get my little episode, I get my little commercial every off season, but Candy could easily sustain a show like Don't Be Tardy for the Party. Nene could easily sustain a show like Don't Be Tardy for the Party. Maybe not looking at her family per se, but as a serial entrepreneur, people would love to see Nene going around from state to state and how the hell she is sustaining customers.
Is she doing that now? Is she still going from state to state? Is that what's happening?
I'm talking about to take care of her business that is in Miami, and her business that is in Las Vegas, and her business that is in and her business that is in Duluth, and like she has to travel to manage these businesses. People would pay to see how you run Swag Boutique, or to run, like, you know,
the new lounge is getting ready to open. So
people would pay to see that. I mean, people would tune in to see that, as opposed to, if you look at the comment section, whenever Bravo promotes Don't Be Tardy for the Party, the only positive comment in the comment section were from Kim Zodiac and her daughter Brielle. Literally, out of hundreds of comments, those are the two people who commented something positive. It's clear that there is a problem over at Bravo.
It is a shame. And you know what? I'm going to make a TikTok about it. So I'm going to make a TikTok and post it tonight. I'm pissed. I'm angry that Tardy for the Party is still on the air and that we're having this conversation. I'm going to tag Andy Cohen and Bravo, and I'm also going to tag Anderson Cooper just to make sure he see it. So we have had an hour. And I want to say that, you know, I don't want CJ to quit the show. We don't want to have to fill another seat. So with CJ here, CJ said I had to keep it at an hour, and I'm going to keep it at an hour because I need CJ to stay with his mask and all.
Who didn't stay?
We done. We over. The show is over. I know y'all want to keep talking, but CJ said an hour and it's done. Thank you, guys.
This is not the CJ show, so this is the Five Guys on Live show.
This is the four guys with a special guest.
With a special guest. So, with that being said, I just want to take a moment and talk about, gentlemen, there's a lot going on for everybody. We have, again, I want to congratulate Darius on his amazing book launch. That has done very, very well. I gave the book. I remember telling you I was going to give the book to my nephew. I gave it to, you know, children in my family. Everyone loved the book. We read the book together. I didn't record it. I should have recorded it. We had like a reading time around, you know, at Christmas, but that was just crazy with all the kids present. In addition to that, we also, Darius also had a huge, the Real Black Friday event. Darius, how did that go?
Don't call it huge, because you know CJ is the COVID police, and you know.
But it was huge. Well, I was there, and it was appropriate. Masks, people had on masks. I went to the event. I have had 4 COVID tests since your event. You know, it was fine. I thought it was wonderfully done.
Praise God for Jesus, because I'll say that, you know, I have been moving around cautiously since the beginning of the pandemic, and also, like, knock on wood, I've not had COVID, and I've had 4 COVID tests as well. So I'm appreciative of the Lord for keeping me, because I have been around people who have been COVID positive and who have texted me to say my friends are responsible, that that I have been positive for coronavirus. I want you to go get tested.
And I want to say this, if I could just briefly say this, Darius, I don't want it to come across like we've done something to deserve to not have COVID. Or that people who get COVID have done something to deserve it. You can wear your mask, you can wear your face shield, and you can still contract COVID-19.
Absolutely.
It's God's grace and mercy and the journey that you're on in your life. And it's no rhyme or reason. So I don't want to make people.
And that's why I say thank you, God, because, you know,
thank you, God, yeah.
I have a lot of elderly family members who are, you know, it hurts not to see them. And I have to be extra cautious when I do see them. And even some of the most cautious of them have had to deal with COVID-19. And I would just hate to be a part of the masses of people who have lost family members to the pandemic. And my big thing right now, my big ask is that, you know, get educated about the vaccine. I know there's a lot of distrust, especially within the Black community, about medicine, and rightfully so. But at the same time, get educated about the vaccine. My job is administering the vaccine as soon as the people over 55 or 65, whatever the threshold is that they've created, receive their vaccines, and I get the email, I'm going to get mine, because I feel like we all have to do our part. Like I said, I understand the skepticism, but do your research. Don't depend on anyone else to tell you that you should or should not take the vaccine.
Let us know when the email comes out. I'm definitely taking it.
And also just be mindful for those individuals also, like for instance, Darius and Exact, like for me, I knew about Darius's events. I unfortunately had to support from afar.
Yes.
Because of the fact that, do not, by all means, you can still support people. I personally have a pre-existing condition, so I know I can't go to certain things, but do not just not support people. Still buy their products, still promote their things on Facebook. Make sure, don't bash people because you're not going. Don't do that either. Don't be bashing people because they're out there. Support people from afar and do that work. I'm appreciative. I'm actually going to buy some more of Darius's books because I want to make sure that we're, doing the work. Making sure that people listen. I didn't say it all. Now, listen. Now.
Oh, it's not no mommy. I took the book home to mommy. She loved it.
The Lord's been good. The Lord's been good financially, but
in addition to Darius's success with his amazing event, I know they're going to have them, throughout the year. So if you missed the first one, you'll be able to catch him at the next one. I would hope that Vince, who is extremely busy. Vince, I'm going to cue you up in a minute to tell us what you choose to tell us about all the great things that you have going. I know that you may not want to share everything, but especially, you probably have NDAs signed where you can't share some of the great things that you're doing. So I'm not stupid. I ain't stupid. So I know that. I will say this, but I hope that you're not going to stop baking your cheesecakes and that at the next event, Darius, we will have a booth where Vince will be able to sell some mini cheesecakes. Because I think, that would be a great thing and a great addition to your event is to have the cheesecake. And then you can roll out your spring flavors. You can roll out the Vince spring flavors.
And I still have to get one for my mom.
Dr. Pickett, I know that you're getting ready to launch a new season of Pick Ed Speaks. That is happening. In addition to that, you have an amazing coffee brand, Java 365. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, there we go. So back in October of 2020, because as you all have seen, COVID has changed us dramatically, and we've all had to, hustle and bustle on different many ways. And so I decided the thing that I do the most is I drink a lot of coffee. So why would I spend all my money making Starbucks and everybody else rich, and I can make myself rich by starting my own coffee brand? So I started Java 365, which is a coffee brand. It's Java 365 everyday coffee to start your every day. You can get that coffee at getjava365.com.
Come on.
They're right. He said it, so I'm putting it out there, right? So while you eating your cheesecake, drink your coffee. So please do that and read your books. By all these people, read your books, drink your coffee, eat your cheesecake. I do have a couple of other initiatives coming out very, very soon, which I'm really excited about. That I'm actually connecting on a national platform, which I'm really excited about. As he did say, Pick Ed Speaks does start next week, and I'm excited about that. We have been blessed to already have some amazing guests signed up, and I'm few surprises that I'm really excited about. I will make sure that each one of these brothers in some capacity are on there. Zachary always makes his appearance. He's always somehow a fan favorite on mine for some apparent reason. So I don't know how that works. But I also just love, and I do know that this year, my purpose this year is really building other people. And so even though I understand that I am a brand, my brand becomes better when I promote others. And so I'll be looking all year to highlight other people. And so that'll be what I'll be doing this year. So when you see me, you'll see me, but you'll actually see me building and promoting other people. And so that's what my new branding is about. And that's what I plan to do in 2021.
That's good. Real quick. Yeah, I'm for everything Dr. Pickett said. It is important for us to know that we can do more united than divided. So just want to put that out there.
Now when it comes to this right here, no.
Okay, we'll leave that out. We in a good.
You've been waiting to do that. You've been waiting to do that.
We're in a good space. Waiting. Love and unity, love and light happening right now. Support is happening right now. But real quick, Zach. Blacktivity. This past summer, I did a social justice conference, virtual conference. So I'm proud to say that the podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, all those things have finally approved it. So it will be probably released sometime next week. I'm gearing up to do some marketing content around that. So I'm really excited about it. And Blacktivity will be an ongoing conversations with different guests on just things that impact our community, the Black community, so on and so forth. And then I'm also, Zach knows this, I am going on tour. In 2020, the pandemic actually stopped my tour. I literally landed in Nashville. I host a lot of big marching band and dance competitions and stuff. And as soon as we landed in Nashville, they said, we got to send you back home. The nation is shutting down. So the same company has signed me on to host some more things. And not only that, they promoted me to be the event lead over the tour as well. So I'll be emceeing and event leading, and they're releasing things date by date. So my first date will be in Concord, New Hampshire, in February 18th that weekend. So I'll be up there. We'll see what New Hampshire talking about. So yeah, I'm really excited about all the blessings that are manifesting right now. Yes, wear your mask.
And Zach, if you
wear
could,
your mask, but also chronicle the experience, Vince. There's a lot of opportunity to take all of this and do a lot with it. So I mean, we need, take some footage. We're gonna put the footage together and give little, Five Guys Live behind the scenes of our life, little blog. There's great. That's a great idea. That's just great to see. Yep. And he is gonna wear his mask. You know what? He's gonna wear his mask because of all the pressure that he gets from his Five Guys online.
Yeah. In fact, if they could, so I just saw that somebody asked about it. For those who are watching on here, give me until the end of the broadcast, because what I'll do is we'll make sure that Zachary actually I'll have a special code for those who watch Five Guys Live. So I'll make sure that you have a special code so that you get your special discount for watching and being a part of this community. So give me at least to the end of this broadcast, and we'll make sure you get that code so that you can actually get your discount.
And you know what, Dr. Pickett, I'm gonna put it on the 3+1 Media website, so that way they can just click and it can route over and be a quick and easy process. And I can drop that in all the social media platforms. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll put it in the group. Put it on Twitter. Put it on Instagram. CJ, where did you get that mask?
Amazon.
What is the name of it so I can order one just like that? I like that one.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I like you. Is that a good one as well, Darius? You like that Polaroid?
No, we wear glasses. Zachary,
designer.
I probably need that.
You need to get this one.
Okay, and so also tell me this, CJ, you have anything big happening in your world to share?
I signed something, so I can't say much.
Well, you can't. So, but when it comes out, are you going to be able to tell us about it?
Oh yeah, then at that point, yes.
Okay, so we're waiting, CJ. We're waiting. I'm sure all of us who know you have an idea of what it is, but we can't wait to see it and see it come through. You just don't forget. I hope all of y'all don't forget about little old me when you each become big and famous in your own right. Because I'll still be right here on Monday nights doing Five Guys on live, because this is what I do.
I'll be right here with you.
Right, broadcasting.
Broadcasting. So this is really exciting. So guys, we are going to keep CJ happy. Call it a day. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Devontae. Thank you so much, Devontae. Thank you.
Wait, Zach, I sent you something. Can you share or can I share it?
You can share. I can't share it because it's not in the feed. You have to have it already loaded in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little thing and post it in the groups. It was a great meme.
Okay, y'all, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can will it share my screen? Okay.
I don't think it will. It won't. That's what I'm saying. You have to have it already prepared.
No, I got it.
Are you figured it out? Drop it.
We have one more meme that we wanted to share. Is it coming up?
I think I can do it. Hold on.
So this is the last name. We found Bernie in one more place before we log out for the night. I want y'all to know that.
That's hilarious.
But I wasn't sure who would be in that seat, so I just wanted to make sure that I invited Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont to come in this week and to spend some time with us. And what do y'all think for him as the 5th seat on Five Guys Online?
I am done. I am done this day.
I'm just trying to figure out why every time we do a screenshot, CJ in the most random position, like the most random face, like every time it never fails.
Why am I looking to the side? Like
always.
Jesus.
I don't even know what to say to that meme. Darius Williams has won the night. Darius Williams has won the night.
Put that as the Facebook header.
Well,
This is my crown.
with that being said, again, Zachary, Vince, CJ, Darius, it has been a pleasure being with all of you all. It has been a true pleasure. I have had fun to start my 2021 also. Again, thank you for having and indulging me tonight.
And CJ, Vince, and Darius, give me 5 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Pickett. We're going to log up. If you guys can just hang out for 5 minutes only. Thank you, guys.